Hey guys, Bites Bump here, bringing you this Unholy Death Knight 10.2 update since we got a couple of buffs to discuss. As always, let's take a look what they exactly are, what the impact is to our rotation, and generally how we feel about them. Got them up here, there's 5 in total. We got Death Claw damage increased by 10%, Scourge Strike / Clawing Shadows damage increased by 10%, Ghoul damage increased by 8%, that's the main ghoul by the way. Virulent Plague damage increased by 20%, and Apocalypse Ghoul damage increased by 5%. All of these kind of target our core rotation. We've seen this in the past, that they like to buff our core rotation and move it away from the primary 3-minute burst. That's why they decoupled armor damage from Apocalypse damage, for instance, and we can see its usefulness here when they buff Apocalypse specifically. This is going to bring up our kind of baseline a little bit. It's not significant changes, but still a little bit more on baseline. The Virulent Plague damage buff is quite nice because it's quite a big portion of our Mythic Plus damage come from Virulent Plague. So they're definitely thinking about making us do a bit more damage in those scenarios. Also, Virulent Plague has, like, over time, ended up being this button which just doesn't do much in pure single target. Like, if we don't talent into anything that buffs it, we essentially just press it to gain the Brittle debuff. It deals so little damage. So buffing it up is nice, and it has the benefit of helping us in Mythic Plus. Numbers. How does this actually impact our damage? It varies is the answer actually. So if you take a look at your current character in kind of Biscare, for instance the one I have, with all tier set, this is going to be almost a 5% DPS upgrade. When you look at Bis 10.2 gear, it's a bit less than 4%-ish. But it also depends on the talents you choose. So this actually benefits the default raid build, so not Defile, contra Defile that doesn't gain as much. So it's kind of like, it's like 1% better for default build compared to Defile build. So they are going to be much closer. We were moving into 10.2 in a scenario where Defile was, a few percent, 1 to 3% ahead of default build, but that gap has now, narrowed. So it's roughly as ahead as it's been in the past, so around 1%-ish, which I think is good because I hate the Defile build. So the less I have to play it in raid, the happier I am. Generally, for Mythic Plus, we're looking at 4 to 5%. Depends a little bit on the target count you choose. A bit less sometimes, a bit more sometimes, but 4% is the general number. These kind of buffs, like 4%, it might not seem that good, but the fact is that most specs are within quite a tight band. So 4% is actually going to move us up a couple spots. I think it was definitely needed. It's a nice thing moving into 10.2, and it's going to help us kind of stay away from the bottom like theoretical DPS spot. So overall happy, doesn't move the needle that much, makes Defile closer to the default build, which is good. So that's the kind of summary. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about this. Are you happy? Should we have gotten more? Will the legendary make us overpowered? Who knows? Upvote, downvote, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video.